Alright guys, so today we're going to be reacting to another video, US visit Europe, guide to cultural differences. Very interesting. We're going to jump in to see what's going on here. Of course, Europe and the United States, even though we correlate with certain things, I think there's a lot of differences. And, we're going to just react to it. Let's go.
Prague, Czech Republic, and this is one of our favorite pubs. But somebody just recently left a nasty review complaining about the fact that the waiter simply asked them, "You want a beer?" The waiter brought the beer, and then once the person was finished, they brought another beer. And this guy was complaining about it. What is he talking about? That's the best thing. Once you're finished with your beer, they bring another one. So for me, from the perspective of a Czech European, that's a good sign. For an American, that may be kind of weird or rude. So today we
Why would that be weird? I don't get it.
want to talk about cultural differences between our country, our city, and United States of America. First of all, you may be surprised what the beer looks like. Well, we have a video dedicated only to that. And second, when I walked in, I didn't look at a beer menu or something that may be quite common in the United States where you have different beers on tap.
That's true.
Most pubs and restaurants in Czech Republic will have one brewery on tap in the pub. So that's why you can walk in and just say, "I'll have one." So I kind of like that.
right.
You walk into a pub and you don't have a million choices, you just say one. In US, not only you have a choice of beers that are on tap, quite often there's 5, 10, 20, but also they will ask you, do you want draft or bottle? What kind of question is that? The reason you go to a pub is to get beer on tap, to get draft beer. If you want bottled beer, you go to a supermarket. So for us, that's a big cultural difference that quite often we don't understand. Now a beer here costs 55 crowns, let's call that $2.50 to round it up. If you go to a stadium, to a sports event here in Prague, it's gonna cost around $3. Well, nothing like that in US. If you go to a pub, it may cost $5, $6, and you go to a stadium and it can cost 10, 15, even.
Actually, that is very true, man. If you go, I have a story about this. If you go to a baseball game, NFL, NBA game, you better just have at least $150 ready to just spend in beers and all that stuff, because it is true, it's kind of expensive. But if you go to a local game, you probably get it not even that expensive. I would say the regular beer, $1.50, $2. Again, it all depends where you buy the beer. If you go to NFL, all these places, that's one of the kind of experience that you're getting. Versus if you go to a local game, local team, you're getting the beer probably regular price.
$20. Honza hates it. Whenever he goes to a sports event, he's always shocked with the price of the beer.
Dodgers.
I myself, when I travel to US, I usually don't go to sports events, but I like amusement parks. And just recently, I visited Universal Studios.
Oh.
It was the most expensive beer I've ever had in my
That's what I'm saying. You go to those places, you better have your pocket ready, man.
life. $15. I could not believe it.
Yep.
Now, I understand that going to amusement park, you don't go there for beer, you go there for the rides, but still $15? Dude, it was insane.
That's true.
Why did I do that? Also, fun fact, I did.
Again, because you're paying for the experience. You see what I'm saying? I don't go to those amusement park myself. I don't drink. Very rarely that I drink. But if I drink, I just go to the supermarket and just buy a regular six pack of beer. It's probably gonna cost me what, $8? It's very cheap.
Did not take a picture of the beer, but I did take a picture of the receipt.
Damn, $16.
Now, the price of the beer, as I said at the amusement park, was $15. But I was asked to pay more than $16. Why? It said
The taxes.
15. Well, tax was not included. What is this about? We go to a place, and I'm not only talking restaurants, but any store, shop,
Yeah.
and the price tag is the final price you pay. It says 55 here, it's gonna cost 55. They include the tax. Why don't you do that in US?
Well, I do agree with him with that. I do agree with him, right? If you have the product tax, hey, make sure you include it in the prices. That's true. That is true, man.
Sad.
Very sad. I agree.
I mean, imagine me, I'm 11 years old, I have my first dollar ever, and I walk into a dollar store, looking forward to buy something for $1.
Good
I
point.
pick up the item, go to the register, $1.50. What? It's a dollar store, everything costs $1, not
Now,
$1.
Now, let me say this again for those folks that don't understand and they say that some countries they work the same. No. If you go to different states, they don't have income tax. So they do not include the tax. You go to New Hampshire, you buy something in New Hampshire, is that $1? It is $1. You go to Texas, $1 is $1, right? But there's some states that they're going to include the income tax on top of it. See, it's a little bit different state by state. It's a little different state by state. People think that they do understand the United States how it works, but they don't, right? Certain states they have different tax brackets. There's some states that they have a high tax bracket, and there's some states that have no income taxes, where you buy something for $1, it is $1. You go to California, well, that's a different story. You buying $1, but you pay for this tax, municipal tax, county tax, all together, right? It all depends where and which state you go.
Store plus tax. Now let's switch from drinks to food. In any place, you can get some
that looks
food,
good,
right?
Man. That looks
mostly you pick something from the menu and
yeah.
no further questions will be asked. Well, in US, quite often they will ask you how you want it customized. Do you want bacon? Do you want that cheese? Do you want this cheese? Do you want this or that and that? It gets quite confusing for us. And you can imagine me being 11 years old in US, in New Jersey, first walking to a restaurant, ordering a burger, very much looking forward to it. And they asked me, how do you want your burger done? I said, I don't know, very well done, thinking that they would make it completely. Yeah, you can imagine what happened. They brought this black piece of meat that was unedible. And all my friends had a laugh about it. Now, to be fair, if you go to a restaurant in Prague nowadays and you will have a burger, they will
that's
ask
a nice
you
burger.
how you want it done. But once again, the fact that you can customize anything at a restaurant
Waffle House
is very uncommon.
Actually, Waffle House have very good prices. Right, with $10 you can get a lot.
Common for us here. So if you come to a pub or a restaurant in Czech Republic, don't expect that you can customize every single item on the menu. That's why there's a menu with things that you pick from. I really hope we didn't lose our subscribers from United States. We love you guys.
No, I don't think there's something wrong with you go to a bar here, local bar. You say give me a burger with fries. That's pretty much okay. I think he's comparing it to like diners or fast food restaurants, or I don't know.
So to say something that we consider to be amazing in US that we don't have here is water. Free water at a restaurant, at a bar.
I agree with him, but there's some restaurants that they need to step out their game in water, man. They forget about the water.
Anywhere.
Water.
Sit down at a table, and in US, you get a glass of water.
Always.
Never happens in the Czech Republic, ever. Not only that, if you ask for tap water, quite often they will say, no, we don't serve tap water. And you will get a tiny little bottle of water that you will pay for $2, $3, $4. It's ridiculous. I know a restaurant where I go to, and I will always say, can I get tap water? And they're like, no, we can't do that. We can only sell you a bottle. And I quite often say, I'll pay you the same price that I'll pay for the bottle for tap water. Like, no, we can't do that.
States of regulation, I guess, right? Regulation.
Why did we cut to here, where we are here thanks to our partner, which is Surfshark VPN. We're actually on the border with Germany, also many culture differences.
Hey, I know you need to get paid, man. I know you're gonna need to pay.
Come to Prague. Yes, quite
beautiful.
often
Oh my God.
Rude.
Hold on. Let me view. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, that's so beautiful.
Come to Prague. Yes, quite often it is
Beautiful, Bria.
rude and
Beautiful.
not polite at all. That's also a huge difference for us when we go to US and a waitress will come to our table and she will introduce herself and she will smile and she will maybe recommend something from the menu. That would never happen here. I mean, it's changing, don't get me wrong.
Well, it's the tipping game, right? It all depends if your culture have a tip culture. If you have tip culture, the waitress has to act a little bit different and see if she can get a little bit more commission from you. See what I'm saying? That I think if you implement that tip culture in Prague or Czechoslovakia, whatever his country is, you probably get a good smiles, a better service. That's my opinion.
Is getting better, but if you go to like a local place, a dive bar, which I would consider this place to be,
that's
often
beautiful.
they'd be grumpy, and it takes a long time for them to get to know you, and after maybe a 20th visit, they will share a little smile with you. Not like in US. First time visitor, oh, I love coming you to our restaurant. My name is Bendy. Can I take your order? Hey, Wendy. Speaking of Wendy, when I was first called darling or honey in a restaurant in US, I was like, she really loves me. She just called me darling.
How about honey?
I like that.
Holly,
I
darling,
mean,
yeah.
I like the bartender here, but he never calls me darling. Let's make it stay that way, okay? We're tough guys. Even though the two of us consider the service
Oh my God,
at
look at that
places
pancake.
in the United States.
Oh, yeah. Pancake, that's chocolate with creamer on top. It's orange juice.
Very good and very nice and very polite. There is one
That's probably like a Cracker Barrel.
thing that we consider to be very rude, and that is you're finishing your meal or maybe you're halfway through and suddenly a bill lands on your table. What is that? Are you kicking me out? That
Actually, I agree with him. I don't like that. I do not like that. Don't worry, man. You're not the only one. A lot of people from the state don't like that.
would never happen here. Any business, restaurant, pub, coffee place tries to keep you in the place as long as possible. You're done with your meal, they'll offer you a dessert.
What I noticed is that they changed. A lot of people are saying, here's the bill, but no rush. Here's the bill, no rush. Take as long as you want. I'm noticing that a lot now. Because I don't like when people are throwing checks on my table. I don't like it. And I would let them know quick. Like, hey, kind of soon for you to just throw the check. Can you just wait a little bit? I think it's changing a lot. People usually don't like that. So I agree with him.
You're done with your dessert, they will offer you coffee. You're done with your coffee, maybe you want to start over and have another appetizer. In other
Yep.
words, they want to keep you in as long as possible. You have to ask for the bill. In US, very often, you're halfway through, here's your bill. I'm like, well, maybe
Unless you are in a local diner, it all depends, of course. If it's an Applebee, what like he was showing, they might do it, right? If you go to a local diner, it all depends. I have to agree.
Something? No. The bill is already on the table. Just weird. Speaking of the bill, let's dive into tipping. And that can create some big issues because that's a big cultural difference. In US, quite often we get asked, do you want to tip 15, 18, 20, 25%? Which for us is like, whoa, that's a lot. A quarter of the bill just tips because it's a tip-based country or tip-based business. In Czech, that used to be very, very different. I mean, my dad would only round up the bill to the next higher number. If the bill was 99, he would round it up to 100.
Well, and I agree. In some sense. I do not use the percentage. If they put the percentage at tip, I will not give the percentage. I will give the tip that I think is right. One time I was in downtown Brooklyn and I was eating in this famous Italian restaurant. I'm not gonna mention the name. And the food was bad, man. So bad. So I go there and I ask for the check. They give me the check. Bro, they have a minimum of 25% tip. And I said, okay, and I asked the guy, hey, I don't want to live 25% of tip. I said, no, you have to live whatever we put you there. And I said, you know what? I got you. I'm not going to live no tips. No tips. Because the food was bad. Customer service was bad. But still you want me to just leave you a tip, man. That's disrespectful. I don't like that. Right? Always give the options of customers leave you any kind of tip. Because now you're forcing. See, now you're forcing for me to overpay you. What happened with things like this is actually you overinflate the market. All of a sudden, now you're not wasting $10 or $15 in a diner. Now all of a sudden it's just getting to the 19. Now all of a sudden it's getting to the 20s, right? Because they're already putting the tips in your receipt. No. Leave always the customer to just choose how much you want to leave. Never like that. Never like the fact that you have to put a percentage, how much. No. Never. So I agree with him. Right? Always try to leave tips, but do not force on the customers because they have to earn it.
I believe most of our dads and mothers still do that. Nowadays, it's changing even here, and tipping goes from 10% higher if you're satisfied with the service. If the service is really bad, some people will simply not tip. If
Yeah,
that would
like it
happen
should.
in the US, that you would not leave a single cent on a tip, I've experienced people running out of the restaurant and be like, what happened? What did we do wrong?
Yeah, I did have an experience like that in Manhattan. Service was bad. It was in a Chinese restaurant. And man, she did a bad service, bro. And I put a 0 there. Boop. And she ran towards me after I got out of the restaurant. It was crazy. See, that's what happened. You create entitled people, you know. Now, do a good service and you will guarantee a tip.
Wrong? Like, why did you not tip? So tipping is very, very different, and I'm curious what you will say about that in the comments. Whatever country you're from, I want
Earn the
to
tip.
read what's the average tipping. in
Bro,
your
we
country.
agree. You're not agree.
Now, this cultural difference is not only huge, but I consider it to be evil, and that is packaging and garbage in general. I'm not talking about if you go to a place where it's a takeout or you go to a fast food. Yes, they put it in a paper bag, either if you're in US or here. But I'm talking about if you go to a restaurant and they create so much garbage, so much waste, even though you're at a restaurant. Quick example. Mostly if you get a drink at a bar in the US, they put a napkin under it, so it soaks the moist that's running under it. Well, that's for one use only. Afterwards, they will throw away the napkin. How about they use coasters? Because you can reuse the coaster. And that
We use that here. I don't know why he's saying that. I think probably there's some restaurants do that, but usually they have, even in diners. I was in a diner last week, they have that.
It's just one
Maybe some
very
places
simple
don't have it.
example. Another one is if you order a ketchup at this place, they will bring it either a bottle, some places in the US do that too, or they put it in a ceramic cup that they clean afterwards. Not that they grab 20 ketchups and throw them next to your burger.
Because you go to fast food joints, man. That's the problem, bro. You go to fast food joint, you have to go to diners, man. The diner, they always have the ketchup right there ready. Make sure you get your French fry and you can squeeze it. I don't agree with it.
Or even in
I
McDonald's
don't
in Czech Republic, you pay for every single tiny packaging.
Really? 50 cents for a little? Nah,
Of
man.
any sauce, any ketchup. So you think about if you want one or two. In US, yeah, can I get some ketchup? Here you go, here's 1,000,000 ketchups in tiny little bags. No, don't do that. I mean, you guys are going all Michael Bay packaging. Like, hey, yeah, that's a plastic bag. Let's put it in a paper bag and let's put more packaging and pack it up. You want it to go? Yeah, let's pack it up more. Whew. Meanwhile, in Europe, yeah, let's get rid of plastic straws. They really destroy the universe. There's
Destroy
going to be
the
one hell of a discussion under this video. I absolutely love you guys from US, and I love going to US, just so you know. We both do. Please don't cancel my ESTA. Now let's drop the beer for a minute and let's talk about coffee and coffee culture differences between USA and Europe. Triggered already? Well, you'll get triggered more. Yes, in Europe, we do not consider this to be a cup
Me
of
neither.
coffee. That's a
That-
gallon
That's chemical in the bottle, man.
of coffee. If it's more than a gallon, it's not coffee. This is a cup of coffee. By the way, shocker, they have a cup of coffee in this pub.
Yeah.
It's served in a ceramic cup. It's this size. You have a plate under it. It makes that little noise when you put it down. You sometimes even get a spoon with it so you can mix your little
Yep.
espresso. And this is how you drink it. Not a gallon. Does
You know what's crazy? When I went to Tuscany my first time, right? Italy. But during that time, I used to just drink like I would say 2 or 3 cup of coffee. I would say 16 ounces, right? And I go there, and then I ask for a coffee. It was very cheap, like 20 euro cents. I don't know what you guys use over there. And they give me this little espresso. I'm like, I don't think this is gonna do it for me. And I had to buy a lot of espressos, man, just to get that instant kick, right? Yeah, we do drink a lot of coffee. That is true, man. I mean, I'm a huge coffee drinker. I drink 2 or 3 cups during my morning before the afternoon kind of thing. Very light coffee. I don't like dark coffee. I would say 2 spoons of coffee. Make sure it's a lot of water. Very light, and that way I can enjoy drinking a lot of coffee instead of just drinking 1 cup and it has a lot of coffee in it. This is not coffee. What you guys seeing right here is just a bunch of chemicals put in in a glass of in a cup, which has plastic in it. This is not coffee. This is something else that I don't even drink. I cannot drink Starbucks coffee, man. My heart rate will go crazy. I don't drink Dunkin' Donut. Don't get me wrong. The only things around, I'll drink an 8-ounce Dunkin' Donut coffee, but I will not get to that point where two cup of 18 ounces of Starbucks coffee, will do it for me. No, yeah, I agree with him.
Doesn't fit in your car so you can drive and sip on your little coffee soup throughout the day. Big difference, big shocker for us when we go to places in US and they simply don't serve something like this.
And the coffee has to be refilled. You go to a diner, make sure you refill the coffee.
Hold your horses. I know that coffee culture in US is changing depending on which state you live in, if you live in a city and so on. But still mostly people think this is coffee and you cannot get this. It's sad for us Europeans. Can I get a cup of coffee? You want venti grande, grande XL, grande XXXXL? Like the Italians drink it. Whoa. Now this next cultural difference may sound weird, but I believe it should be addressed. And that is restrooms and toilet sizes in restaurants and pubs. And I'm not talking about the actual seat size, but I'm talking about you have a big pub and there's one toilet. There's like one restroom for the entire pub where there's like hundreds of people. And the stalls where you can like sit to do number 2 are very like see-through. Like, there's no privacy. Like there's no door at the bottom. Like if somebody peeks, they can see you.
Hey man, you have to do it with confidence, man. You have to drive in with confidence, man.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. And
confident, make sure you grab yourself to the side. Make sure you're straight and just take a deep breath, man.
Girls talk about that a lot. Both our girls talk about it, how like it's kind of weird that people can't really see you. So that's a big difference. If there's a big pub here, it has many restrooms, many toilets.
Oh, I see. So you guys see, they cannot see underneath. That's why.
You know,
that's beautiful sink.
Business people need and accommodate many people at the same time. And of course, the ones we mentioned are not the only cultural differences between our continents. There's many more. We can talk about different units. We can talk about different forms of transportation, how we move around cities and countries, how big are our cars and your cars, and many more topics. So let us know in the comments if you want us to cover more topics. And while you're there, please don't be mad at us. This was not made to insult you, only to give you perspectives on our culture habits and your cultural habits that we experience when we go over to your lovely continent that we love to visit. But sometimes we're just like, that's weird.
Yeah.
We're the Honest Dudes from Prague. That dude's name is Honza. My name is Janek. We go by The Honest Guide, our channel full of content. So if you're planning to come to Prague, Europe, check out our videos.
Wow.
We do scams, we show you beers, we show you restaurants, coffee places, and cultural differences. I'll see you next week, Sunday.
Hey man, nice video, bro. I like it. It's good to have culture differences, man. It's good to have culture differences, You guys have a beautiful city. Prague looks so beautiful. A lot of history, a lot of expression in their building. Yeah, man. The United States is just full of a lot of cultures mixed up with a lot of things, man. It's just a different place, bro. Even me, when I go to different states, I'm shocked. I'm very shocked. It's just how we're built in a way where we mix a lot of things. Well, I think we came together and we said, you know what? I think this should be a very universal thing in the United States. But here, I live right. I've been in Wisconsin for the last 3 years, but I used to live in Wyoming. I used to live in New York City. I know I used to live in Puerto Rico. I mean, all the 4 states are all different. All different. You go to Puerto Rico, you go to San Germán, you think you're in Spain, man. San Germán, that town, one of the oldest towns in the United States, is, it's crazy, man. And then you come to New York, then it's crazy. Then you go to Wyoming, that is crazy. You think that going to these famous state is crazy and chocolate? Go to Wyoming, bro. When I went to Wyoming, I was shocked, man. I was like, where am I? I'm in the Wild Wild West, man. There's downtown is just like you can just walk downtown 10 minutes. Like it looks like you were still in one of those Clint Eastwood kind of movies. Like all of a sudden it's gonna be a cowboy just with a couple revolvers in his hip. It's kind of crazy, man. But it's beautiful. I love it. I love my country, man. I love the culture that we have, the good and the bad, right? And I'm assuming you guys are in the same position. You guys love the good and the bad, but it's good to have the culture differences, right? That's how we see how you guys in Prague, do things. Maybe we're gonna get a little bit of that thing here. You know what I'm saying? And then we go to Japan and we see, oh man, I like these things. Let me just get a little bit of here. So on and so forth. It's good to have culture differences. But yes, I agree, man. That big thing when you go to a diner in the United States, make sure they have the ketchup, and the ketchup has to be upside down. It has to be upside down. You don't want to grab the ketchup and start squeezing. No, you want to make sure it's upside down because you want to open it. Make sure you squeeze the ketchup is already coming out. There's a lot of things here that I would like to make a video about this. It's crazy. But I've been in Europe and there's a lot of differences, right? When I was in Italy, there was a lot of differences, beautiful differences. A little bit laid back, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I was in Austria. I was in London. London was very New York City-ish. I was not that much surprised. But when I was in Bulgaria, and very different. Bulgaria is so different, man. So different. I was in Bulgaria a couple of years ago. I was playing with the Bulgaria Orchestra. I'm a pianist. And that was interesting. And you can still see some of the structures, very common structures, beautiful. Still drinking. They have the espresso coffee machines in their streets, which was very interesting. You can see Siberian Husky stray dogs, which you would never see in the United States. Siberian Husky stray dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like those things, even though they're different, it's good because that gives you a different perspective of things. I might be rambling too much. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. In the meantime, I will see you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.